got a lot in common.
Really? You're sitting there tied to a chair, and I'm standing here with a gun in my hand.
It wasn't over till both sides say it is. Hello?
I knew I'd find it.
Did you hear this number?
You have no idea who you're messing with. He's like a father to you, right? You don't do this, it's a dead man.
Listen, Danny's gonna come back for me. And when he does, you're out of here. He's your worst nightmare.
All we gotta do is wait for him to come to us. This guy is good.
You have no idea.
What are you doing?
Let me get my watch back.
Should have stayed away. The gloves are off.
This ends today.
So what do you think?
Immediate impressions, I'm not very impressed.
Really?
Yeah, definitely. It looks like a basic, generic action film, sexy action film. They had I think she was the chick from Chuck, if I'm not mistaken. Other than that, it's just a face-off between two big names, Statham and Owen, but it doesn't seem to be doing anything
Wow. I mean, like, literally one trailer ago.
Yeah.
This is what we were looking for. You changed,
Oh,
man.
no,
You changed quick.
this isn't what I was looking for.
Well, okay, look. No doubt, this is, once again, Jason Statham doing his thing.
Yeah.
And he seems to be the go-to guy for Hollywood for a lot of these films.
Yeah.
Having said that, this isn't like any of his other films. You've got Clive Owen.
Yeah.
And Robert
good cast,
De Niro.
good cast.
Clive Owen with a moustache. And Robert De Niro
Looks badass.
with some crazy-ass hobo beard.
But Statham just looks like he's making another Transporters. He doesn't seem to be doing anything new, and I wasn't a big fan of Transporters.
Forget about the plot and all that. You
Yeah.
didn't like him kicking ass?
Well, yeah, it's always fun to watch people kicking ass, but looking at some of the other trailers we've seen today with some really good martial arts, why just watch someone kick ass in like cheap Hollywood effects when we could actually watch some real martial arts? And also, you look at the title, Killer Elite. They couldn't have been lazy with it. They might as well just call it Really, Really Good Killers. Like, that's what they want us to see in this film. They're both really good at killing.
I guess he is a little bit on the nose, yeah. Well, I mean, like, well, Jason Statham does have. He is, like, you know, he's a black belt or something, right? Or something
Black belt in what?
I don't know, but he's obviously capable of doing this stuff.
Yeah.
He's a martial artist. He's a black belt in something. He's a black belt in kicking ass. That's what he has.
Kicking ass and taking names.
You read his CV then. That's exactly it, right? And then Clive Owen, I mean, like, alright, let me ask you this. Did you like Taken?
No.
Ooh, okay, then at least you're consistent.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't like Taken because...
Same critiques. It's just doing nothing new, nothing that I'd take the time to watch it. Like, you know, there's lots of action movies out there, lots of old ones that I haven't even visited yet. So, you know, something really has to stand out for me in this genre.
What?
Either the action has to speak well for it, or it has to have some X factor, something that I want to come back and see.
Well, I thought the X factor would be that you've got stellar actors in this.
Yeah.
Now, I did say before that often they tend to pick some, you know, an actor that's an actor first.
Yeah.
And not really stand, and they make it look like he's doing something. But there's certain films where they actually make it look good, whether through editing or directing, it actually makes it look like they actually are doing something. So, for example, Taken was a great example of that.
Okay.
Liam Neeson obviously isn't, you know, a martial artist or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But in that film, he looked lethal. I don't know how they pulled that off. They did the same thing with the same guys who made that. They did From Paris with Love with John Travolta.
Love that film.
Okay, now I hate that film.
Really?
So much. You're messed up. You're not
What's wrong?
consistent.
From Paris
The
with Love
same
was
people
brilliant.
made that film.
Yeah.
And they used the same sort of style to make Travolta look like he can fight.
Yeah.
But he still looked like a chump. Bald ass, goatee chump
It's
with
true,
an Afghan
yeah,
scarf.
I have to agree with
and
you.
the other guy with his little pencil
But it was
moustache.
fun watching
and
him
the
kick
story
people's
was
asses.
poor. Taken was far more enjoyable. And Liam Neeson is a fantastic actor with
Yeah.
great screen presence.
Definitely.
Far better than John Travolta, I hate to say it, but in that sort of role he is. So that was the X factor within that film.
Yeah.
It's like It's when the two worlds combine really well. We've got a great actor who can pull off the action scenes, and
Definitely.
I think it did have a novelty feel to it because he's not an action star. It's the first time he's doing it. I think in the same way Bourne was successful the first time round.
Yeah.
It was with someone who's not an action star.
Yeah, and that
but
came
he
off
made
surprisingly well.
Yeah, he made a great first impression. Liam Neeson did that with good directing, good editing,
Yeah.
and the whole nexus. And then I think in this, it looks the same. Jason Statham is, without a doubt, a martial art, and he could pull off all this stuff. Notwithstanding that, you've got Clive Owen. He looked like he could pull off. Well, they made it look like he can hold his
Definitely,
own.
yeah.
But we know he can't. But the fact they were able to pull that off is I'm happy with that.
Speaks well of the director.
I'm happy with that,
really.
exactly. And then, but what the X factor is this Clive Owen. He always delivers, as does Robert De Niro.
It's true.
So
yeah, it was entertaining to watch De Niro kick ass, and that's something I would definitely show up
he's
to
old.
watch. Yeah, that is entertaining. I don't know why I see such joy in watching him just kick the crap out of people half his age.
we established this earlier. Old people kicking ass.
It's true.
Awesome.
Good. It makes for good watching.
It does make good watching. Well, I'm surprised to hear that you're not looking forward to it because
It's definitely not making my shortlist.
I disagree then because this film is definitely now on my radar. It wasn't before, but thanks to that trailer, it is. And I think a lot of that is probably owed to the fantastic soundtrack they had playing through the trailer. I obviously had a bit of a nostalgia feeling to 80s.
Of course,
maybe that's
of
what
course.
they're aiming for.
They got you in the weak spot.
They got me in the weak spot. They had me at here I am. So I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully I can convince you to watch it with me then in the future.
Yeah, maybe.
Alright guys, on to our last segment, Keeping It Real, where we get to bitch, complain, moan about something that's caught our attention in the last week in the movie industry. So, Buzz, do you have anything that you'd like to say?
Yeah, well, this week, as most of us know, is the premiere for the last of the Harry Potter films, and that's been massive news, and that's really what's been pissing me off about this. I mean, like, since when did a Harry Potter make headlines and be all over BBC News?
hasn't it? Yeah.
I'm not able to avoid it. I pick up a paper on the tube and Harry Potter all over the place. Switch to BBC News, trying to see what's going on in the world, and they're telling me about Harry Potter. Harry Potter fans like Harry Potter. That's not news. It's not. Who needs to know that?
Well, I mean,
shit?
like Harry Potter is like a very successful UK franchise. And
It's a very
you can't really say
well-loved
that about
franchise.
many. How many things can you say in the UK film industry have been successful for the last 10 years on a worldwide scale?
Well,
We've
this
got to
is the
support
thing.
it.
Just because something's from the UK and it gets some success doesn't mean we have to put it in the headlines. As a whole, that makes the country look really lame. Oh, look at this. People, watch the film we made. Everyone hear about this film we made people watch.
Hey, do you hear about this Harry Potter film?
You don't hear
I've heard good things.
other countries announcing their big movies or it's just like when Wimbledon rolls around every year, every Brit thinks it's the biggest deal in the world when it's just another tennis tournament, and you will upset a couple of people by calling it a tennis tournament. But for people who don't like to see balls hit with rackets, it's just another couple of days, and they don't give a shit, and I don't give a shit. And Harry Potter really grinds my gears.
I don't know how you managed to fit in Wimbledon Rant in there.
It's just
but I applaud it. Yeah.
anything to cuss Wimbledon and Harry Potter, I put them all in the same
Yeah, it's all the
ballpark.
same. It's all the same.
Man, I mean, I've hated the Harry Potter films for a while. I loved the books as a child,
Really?
but the movies never did it for me. They seem to lose a lot of key aspects from the books, and
Yeah.
that's a problem with most adaptations. But the movies got worse and worse. I mean, I once, well, how old was it? Must have been like 18 when I did
Yeah.
a marathon and watched all of them that
Really?
came out in DVD, and that was the worst night I've ever had. Bad
I'm sure you can
films.
think of worse nights.
Bad films. It's just a
Alright.
poor excuse of the fantasy genre. It's a baby step into the fantasy genre. Anyone who's not comfortable with it, watch Harry Potter, and maybe you'll get slightly more comfortable with the idea of orcs and magic and stuff. But for someone like me who's a big fan of fantasy,
Yeah.
it's a bad version. It's just a bad version of a fantasy film.
Now, I hope I'm not overstepping my bounds here, but it sounds like to me you got beef with the Harry Potter movies
I hate him.
themselves.
I hate Daniel Radcliffe. I hate his
Really?
little face.
Okay, well, look, I'm just a full disclaimer here. I'm not a big fan of Harry Potter movies at all. I've never read the books either.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna, sit here and say, yeah, well, you haven't, you're wrong here, you're wrong there. I'm not in a position to say, and if I was,
Yeah.
I would probably be supporting your arguments. But I think in the importance of being devil's advocate, would you be saying the same things if it was another UK film or another franchise, a franchise you're a fan of?
Well, like,
or
let's say...
is it just because it's Harry Potter?
Well, another big film, like if I was around in the 70s when the Star Wars
Star Wars
trilogy
is a
had
perfect
finished,
example, yeah.
I'd still think that's not f***ing news. You got a bunch of Star Wars nerds, which I am.
Really?
I'm a member of that community of Star Wars nerds. Like to watch the last Star Wars film. Again, it's not
Yeah.
news. Keep it out of my paper. I don't want to
Yeah.
read that shit when I'm on the tube. Or have a look at BBC News so I can
Yeah,
see
yeah.
where the latest fans are hanging out.
Yeah.
Keep it out.
I guess that's fair enough. I guess that says a lot more about the news industry than it does about anything else. I'm like,
Yeah.
obviously, you know, this is something that I guess UK shares with other countries in their media. Say, for example, America.
Yeah.
Obviously, looking for more, not so much sensational, but things that obviously attract people's attention
Yeah,
straight
you
away.
promote
And
your
that-
high points, of course.
Exactly, and gossip and celebrity and movie stuff will always get that. I gotta say as well, I guess, you know, there is a lot of news on Harry Potter, but hey, it's gonna be over soon, so don't worry. It's
Yeah,
gonna be over
all
soon.
over.
Take
No more of
solace
that.
in that. It will be over soon.
Quantum of Solace, don't even start me on that one.
And then we can maybe get some good happy news about the people dying in Libya. So just wait out. Just
That's
hold
what
out.
I want to see.
That's the hold out for that.
I want to see what's going on in Syria and
Yeah.
Libya. Like,
Now that's interesting.
that's what I signed up for.
Well, that brings us to the end of our first pilot podcast, guys. Thanks for those who managed to stick to the end. That one
Listen
person.
to us all the way through.
Thanks very much, Mum. I appreciate you believing in me. I've had a lot of fun doing this. It's been good.
Lots of fun.
It's sad. Hopefully we'll see you guys next week.
And if you take anything away from this, know that
If I overreacted,